Everyone in the Navy unit thought it would be funny. A harmless prank on the quiet single dad who always kept to himself. They signed him up for a blind date as a joke, never expecting the Admiral would find out, or that his final words would leave the entire unit silent, eyes filled with tears. But to understand why that moment changed everything, we need to start from the beginning. Petty Officer Ethan Ward had learned to live life quietly, not because he lacked confidence, but because the world had already taken too much from him. 3 years ago, he lost his wife, Mia, during childbirth. He became a father and a widower on the same day. Since then, his life revolved around one person, his daughter, Lily. While other sailors spent weekends drinking, playing cards, or planning trips, Ethan spent his evenings reading bedtime stories, packing little lunchboxes, and learning how to braid a 4-year-old's hair. On the base, people admired his discipline, but they also whispered that he was too distant, too serious, or emotionless. What most didn't know was that Ethan carried guilt like a second skin. Every laugh he shared, every moment of joy he allowed himself, felt like a betrayal to Mia's memory. His unit, young, energetic, and sometimes immature, didn't understand him. To them, he was the boring single dad who rejected invitations, skipped outings, and avoided bonding activities. One afternoon, after a long training session, the squad gathered in the mess hall. A group of sailors joked about setting Ethan up on a blind date, purely to snap him out of his widower phase. They thought he needed to live a little and have fun for a change. Watch him panic, one snickered, he'll probably show up with a baby bottle, another laughed. They secretly registered him for a Navy-organized charity blind date event happening that weekend. The winner couple would be announced at a formal dinner where a high-ranking official, the Admiral, would choose the best match. They felt it was harmless fun. A joke. A prank. But one person heard the conversation, Lieutenant Grace Turner, a respected officer known for being strict but fair. She had watched Ethan quietly for months, noticing things others ignored, the exhaustion beneath his eyes, the way his hands trembled every time he received a call from Lily's school, the loneliness he tried to hide. Grace didn't find the prank funny. Meanwhile, Ethan only learned about the setup when a formal email arrived. Congratulations, Petty Officer Ethan Ward. You have been selected for the Military Hearts Blind Date Gala. Attendance is confirmed. He stared at the email in disbelief. He hadn't signed up. His first instinct was to decline. But then he saw Lily drawing at the dining table, a picture of him alone under a rain cloud. She looked at him with big hopeful eyes and asked, "Daddy, don't you want someone to love you too?" He swallowed hard. Maybe one evening wouldn't hurt. Maybe Lily deserved to see her father smile, just once. What Ethan didn't know was that this night would not only change his life, it would expose the truth behind the prank, confront shame, and move the Admiral to tears. And in the background, Grace Turner silently made a decision. If they were going to send Ethan into this blind date as a joke, she would make sure the night didn't end as one. The evening of the gala arrived. Sparkling lights, formal uniforms, and elegant music filled the Navy ballroom. Ethan stood at the entrance, uncomfortable in his dress uniform, clutching a small photograph of Lily in his pocket like a lifeline. Meanwhile, the group of pranksters stood near the bar, laughing, waiting to watch the show unfold. But before they could enjoy their joke, something unexpected happened. Ethan's assigned blind date was Lieutenant Grace Turner. Grace had personally requested the match after learning about the prank. She refused to let Ethan walk into humiliation alone. When Ethan walked toward the table and saw her there, calm, poised, and clearly not part of any joke, he froze. "You," he whispered, stunned. Grace smiled softly, not mocking, not pitying, just kind. "I thought we both deserved a good evening. No jokes. No embarrassment." For the first time in years, Ethan felt seen. Grace didn't pressure him. She didn't treat him like a charity case. She asked about Lily, about Mia, about how he was really holding up, and she listened. As the evening went on, something shifted. Ethan laughed, genuinely, surprising even himself. For a moment, he forgot the heaviness he had carried for years. But across the room, the sailors who planned the prank noticed the unexpected connection and began panicking. Their joke was backfiring, and then came the part everyone waited for. The Admiral entered to announce the best match of the night. Little did they know, the Admiral had heard about the prank too. What he said on that stage wouldn't just expose the truth, it would break the room into tears, and change the future of everyone involved.